Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk more about weather. So yesterday you had your intro to weather and you learned what weather was. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go over the variables that determine weather. Real quick side point, this presentation is going to be broken into 2 days. So you're going to do the notes for the section that I go over today and then do part one of the exit ticket. You are not to complete all of the notes today. Do not go on to sections that I have not talked about in this video. So, weather. First, we have to start with what is weather. Yesterday, you should have learned that weather is the atmospheric conditions along with short-term changes of a certain place at a certain time. What does that mean? It essentially means it's describing the atmospheric conditions, what's going on in the atmosphere. Is it raining? Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it snowing? Is it sunny? Is it cloudy? Etc. And it identifies short-term changes. It's short-term because weather can change very quickly. 1 minute it's sunny, the next minute it can rain. That's why it's short term. Weather has many variables that describe the atmospheric conditions. What are they? The variables are air temperature, air pressure, wind, humidity, relative humidity, and dew point. Today we are going to cover air temperature, air pressure, and wind. On Friday we're going to cover humidity, relative humidity, and dew point. So what is air temperature? Air temperature is a measure of average kinetic energy of molecules in the air. So let's go into that real quick. It's the average kinetic energy, the movement of the energy of movement, moving energy of molecules in the air. Let's read the next bullet. When the temperature is high, the molecules have high kinetic energy. So what that means is when it's hotter, the molecules in the air move faster. They have a higher kinetic energy. They move faster because the temperature is higher, it's hotter. Molecules in warm air move faster than molecules in cold air. So bear with me while I bring this up for a second. So notice here, we have a molecule when it's hot, a molecule when it's cold. When it's hot, these molecules move all over the place. They move very rapidly. They bounce off each other. When it's cold, they move very slowly. When they're hot, they move fast. When they're cold, they move slow. That's what's happening. That's why we can have phase change when it's hotter. If you think about the water cycle, when we were evaporating water, the reason the water is evaporating and turning to gas is because the water molecules are gaining more energy, more kinetic energy. The higher the temperature, the more kinetic energy they have, the faster the molecules move, and then it becomes a gas. They break the bonds and it becomes a gas. Okay. So that's air temperature. With air pressure, it sounds exactly what it is. It is exactly what it sounds. Can't talk today. Air pressure is the force that a column of air applies on the air or surface below. Air pressure decreases as the altitude or the height increases. air pressure is greatest or greater at low altitude. So again, I'm going to bring the whiteboard over here. I drew a picture of a guy stepping on gum. He's putting his foot down, which means he's applying pressure to the ground. The harder he stomps, the more pressure he's going to apply. You should have learned that last year in physical science. Now, for air pressure, it's the force that a column of air is applying to the surface or air below. So if air is on the top, it's applying pressure to the air below, or it's applying pressure directly to the surface if it's close to the surface. So that's our second variable, air pressure. Lastly for today, what we're going to talk about is wind. Wind is created when air moves from areas with high pressure to areas with low pressure. So if let's just say one area has high pressure, the other area has low pressure, the air is going to flow from high to low, and that's how we get wind. This is going to be important when we talk about breezes later on in the year. Wind is pretty simple, but that's exactly how the wind moves. So it's just air moving from high pressure to low pressure. Okay, this part of the video is relatively fast. Tomorrow it's going to be longer because the next three variables we talk about are going to be variables that have more things to talk about. It's more in depth. So what I need you guys to do now is go answer the exit ticket and complete this part of the notes. Make sure you submit the exit ticket. Do not submit the notes. We will complete the notes tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, guys.